was harder than we anticipated, and it was much, much colder. My feet got very cold. One toe turned white.
We're a team of 6 people. Our goal is to determine what the highest peak in Burma is and then climb it. We'd like to solve this fantastic geographical mystery. I think our biggest dangers will come before we get to the mountain.
Not warm.
Not warm.
It never let up, just taken down to like nothing. And how does that happen? Usually on these trips, you definitely don't take time to see a place so much, which is definitely a drawback to a lot of expeditions, is you land in this foreign place, but you just beeline it straight for the mountains. We're in Yangon, and we are about to get an overnight bus to Bagan.
It's the long road.
It should be a really long way to the mountain. No one's actually stood on the top of Hakakaburatsi with a really specific GPS. And to determine the highest peak in this mountain range would essentially change the highest peak in Southeast Asia. Seems like at this point you could figure that out from space, but somehow it just hasn't been figured out yet. There's still this huge debate. So in addition to the adventure, there's a good amount of science to it.
Hillary and I conceived of this as kind of the anti-Everest trip. We were coming off of Everest together, been successful, and kind of wanted, okay, what's an old-fashioned expedition? Start in the capital of the country, go overland, all the way to your mountain. With this team, I think we have as good a chance as anyone of resolving the mystery of what's the highest peaks in Burma.
I would say this is definitely another step above the Everest trip. More remote, more challenging, and the worst travel experience I've ever had. Literally, you'd be airborne and then just slam back into your seat, and then you'd be launched again and then slam back into your seat. Doing that for 18 hours just sort of makes you insane.
We're on an adventure. And I think that was what got me started in expeditions in the first place. Just this excitement for the unknown.
Hills is the leader of this Hakakaburatsi expedition. She had the monumental task of organizing all in-country logistics.
We're having a little bit of a problem with immigration. They're claiming they haven't seen any of our permits. We are in Putao. We have made it. And it's kind of shocking. We are now under town arrest. So we're just sort of waiting until he has some more news.
Very difficult to understand that who made this
Decision to stop.
We finally got our permissions yesterday. We are packing up motorcycles, and it looks totally sketchy.
Got a 50-pound backpack. and a 30-pound Moby in my right hand. Not really sure how that's gonna work, but let's see how it goes.
I mean, I don't know, it's probably really hard driving, but I just feel like I'm the shittiest driver.
We're in Expedition 101 mode. And it's definitely partly, you know, my mistake. I should have been keeping better track of where the bikes were and everything, but right now we're getting pretty spread out.
On the way in, we did 80 miles in motorcycles in 4 days.
And then we started the jungle walk.
The jungle is claustrophobic, and you can never see further than 10 feet.
You're talking about 100 miles of trail, and it's like straight down through bamboo spears to the river.
He stabbed his foot, right?
The Burmese Himalaya is different because of how long the approach is to get there and the lack of infrastructure that's set in place.
So, I think we're on day 3 of hiking, and these are the longest days at 16 miles each.
It's just not set up for expeditions. There's no porters. There's not even any food.
Our gas has come in a unfamiliar form.
That could be a little bit problematic.
You want lighter?
No, not yet. Blow myself up.
And he said white gas. That's butane.
It doesn't work?
We're gonna try and see if it works.
It would go down as one of many miscommunications. Kind of shitty.
I don't think it'd blow up though in my hand.
No, it's not. No, it won't blow up.
Yeah, baby! It's gonna work out. It's gonna work out. If we
It's gonna work out, but it's just like another like catastrophic
so if we,
moment that we can totally overcome, but there's just so many every day that it makes me want to scream. That's all.
26 days since we left the
We're
U.S.
not even at 7,000 feet. 19.
God race.
I actually think this expedition will fail if we don't do 2 things. If we don't cut weight and extend our time here.
No, I'm taking some out.
It's okay.
Things are falling apart. And I guess at this point I just want to know whether we're going to stay or go. And if so, how much time we're going to give it.
Whereas an old-fashioned here, you can put on a rock and step forward.
We've gotten all of our stuff 80 miles into the jungle, and now we have to cut half of it, or we pretty much will never go anywhere because we don't have enough porters. Our food supply was getting pillaged, as we went up. Like, these are things you just can't conceive of pre-trip.
This is all we've got for the next, for 6 people for the next month. It's not that much at all. So we'll probably all come back a lot thinner and a lot dirtier because we have no clothes. Sounds good.
Holy fuck! That was a really good eye, Taylor. Did you see him? Okay, he's getting like longer.
Corey was the one that brought up the whole thing. That's how his mind.
So it's like this.
And a kick.
At least there's one trail, one camp, and we're all going to the same place with the same porters. So that's one thing we've got going for us today. Psyched.
What's that out there?
There's some mountains! Woo! They're still really far away, but you can see there's an alpine environment in Burma. It exists.
After 10 days in the jungle, our first view.
So many things went awry every day, and it was a lot of hard work. And to get to base camp, when I think of all the times we almost threw in the towel, was a total relief. Oh, we made it! We're at like 11,000 feet, we have 7,000 to go.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
We're living large!
Mark was going for it. He just was like charging ahead.
I was looking at the mountain on Google Earth where, a large chunk was like blurred out and you can't really see what it is, so you're just sort of guessing. It was a very complicated route, but we had no information to go on, nothing.
We struggled for an hour trying to level out a place for our 3-man, and it was super fucking annoying, and we'd finally just set it up on a unlevel spot.
Camp 1.
Camp 1. Camp 1.
The summit is about 19,000 feet. So we're bringing up more gear than we'll probably use, but we want to get it done.
Big day, going up a giant couloir with technical climbing with heavy packs.
Fucking
People were kind of just like, this is real, it's serious. But at the same time, I was just right there with everyone else. A lot of the things that I did today, I've never done before.
Kind of sketchy, some of it too, right?
It was kind of scary.
We're going up 55 degree, 60 degree ice slope.
This mountain is full of surprises. We have followed yet another dead end, so we have to backtrack an hour and basically drop elevation. And then do some steep snow and ridge climbing. And then, I don't know. This might be one of the most beautiful camps I've ever had the pleasure to stay at.
I immediately was analyzing the climbing ahead. To me, it looked like that's where the climb really began.
I felt like we have to think now.
Climbing in a team of 5 just doesn't work for this kind of technical terrain. You have to move fast in a team of 2 or 3.
Emily kind of said, I'm beyond what I want to do.
Just glad that I made it as far as I did, safely.
I felt my place as team leader was with Emily.
So we took off, Renan and I and Corey, and swapping leads and getting very, very cold.
Now we're on the south side in the sun. We can see our objective. We have high hopes. It's hard. It's real climbing. This is alpine climbing.
It is. Time check, gentlemen. It's 7:20. It's not bad. It's not too bad.
Next day, slow going because we're cold, and we basically continue along the ridge. And we do that for a few hours before we stop, and Corey says, you know, I think we need to talk.
I had a moment with Mark and Renan where I said, look guys, I'm scared. I think it's fucked up. I think we're putting it too far out there.
Renan and I were kind of like, I mean, it seemed like it was so close, right?
It does look close, but I mean, what's close? Close has always been relative on this thing.
So Renan looked around that corner, and I looked around the corner, and we both kind of had this sense, we should keep going.
Slow and steady. Slow and steady.
I got you on.
So I went out another rope's length and got to the point where I could actually see our next true obstacle.
I'm just being honest. That's, you know, I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it and say that it's something other than fucking straight up fear, man.
This is further out there than any of us have ever been. There's no heli rescue. There's no nothing.
Our expedition's over. There's too many gendarmes. Too many little ones that getting around just like that one. I was just trying to come back up.
And I just felt that we'd get stuck somewhere and have to just dig out a little shelf and sit there through the night and freeze to death. I was a little heartsick to be so close, I have to say. 17,840. If you look across there, that's at least 200 or 300 feet higher. I think it's still the highest.
It might still be.
Long ways above us.
The mystery continues, dude.
At this point, we're just limping back to base camp. I think I got a broken wrist. Corey's got something with his knee. Mark just gave, one of the biggest efforts of his life, and we got a big portion of the trip left. So,
Well, it worked. I'm done. And we still have 2 weeks of walking through the jungle to get home. So fucked up. Oh well. That's it.
Getting out of here. My wrist does really hurt.
Oh my god.
Decompressing a little.
S's are not easy.
I know that in traditional terms of success, as far as getting to the summit and hurrahing and getting our GPS point and everything, we weren't successful, but it was real. Full stripping down of all veneers, and the most stretched out and beaten down I've ever been.
Be careful what you wish for. Hillary and I were kind of like, we want a small little trip that's really, really remote, where nobody's ever been, super hard to get to. That's what we got. And by God, it was hard to get to. So, we got what we came for. Fair enough.